Hello, it's me, Mario. We're here with the campaign of Comrades today, talking about the original Super Mario movie. I just want to make it known at the top of the episode that we don't support the Fredophobia, the Italophobia. We support and love the Italian people. They're a people of color. And the Italian people, they need to be uplifted. So there's
Wait,
no
who gave him a
Fredophobia
microphone?
here.
He's supposed to be
Enjoy.
downstairs fixing my plumbing. Get back downstairs. He's not supposed to be in here right now.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, we put the ball gag back in Mario's mouth. Bad gimp.
He's back in the basement.
Okay,
Folks,
that was weird.
it's Campaign Comrades. We're talking Mario movies, but not the one that you are expecting.
Or maybe the one you are.
Maybe. Who knows? But like, it's the classic meme of, they feed us poison, the new Illumination Mario movie, while they suppress our medicine. The original 1993
Reject modernity, return to original.
The first ever the first ever movie
video game adaptation.
Yeah, ever done. And
now only available on DVD.
Yeah, we had to go through an absolute ringer to be able for all of us to watch it. It's no longer available on streaming, which again, that's a whole nother discussion. Again, why streaming only shit fucking sucks, because it becomes impossible now to fucking watch shit.
Yes,
it was
no
just
cam version on YouTube.
It was by pure luck and happenstance that I had a external optical disc drive that we were through some finagling, we were able to do a watch party together. And thanks to Daddy Bezos for that.
Watching
the
Mario movie in 480p on Discord just hit different.
The way it's meant to be watched.
Yeah, that was definitely the format the filmmakers had in mind.
They made so many technical leaps and bounds in this film, which is not an actual joke. That is true. It is cited as like, making a
visual
real
effects.
Leap in terms of effects. Yeah. Which I'll say
On
at the
the
top
wall.
was one of the absolute highlights of it, of this
Way
film.
better than today's effects.
They simply do not make movies like this anymore.
Nope.
With how ambitious it was in terms of the plot, for mostly worse, but
surrealism.
It was so good.
No blue screens.
Not a blue screen to be seen, not a cell phone in sight, just two brothers being bros, just can't be better.
John Leguizamo.
Can we
Hoskins.
talk quickly about the whole John Leguizamo thing, about him boycotting the current movie because there are no Latinos casted in the in this film, which is again so funny to me.
Mario Latino.
Exactly, it's like they're Italian.
His
You as
argument is
a Latino man played in Italian.
groundbreaking.
Yeah,
because they had a Latino playing in Italian.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a step up, maybe.
It's very
depending on
silly.
how you look at it.
Very
They
silly
should have
to
cast me.
It's very silly to me.
That voice, I could do a better Mario than Chris Pratt, guaranteed. Spend more time in Brooklyn than him.
It's hilarious, though.
I was just doing a tiny little bit of research into the making of this film before recording, and I learned
it is a film, not a movie.
Yes.
We have to put that there.
Yeah.
It is a film.
I had this, particularly with the pedigree of its producers and whatnot. So the development for this came about after producer Roland Joffe, I don't know how you pronounce the guy's name. He obtained the Mario film rights from Nintendo. He was the one that really got the ball rolling. This guy is an Academy Award nominated director for the film The Killing Fields, about the Khmer Rouge in Cambodia.
Yeah.
He goes from that as his directorial debut to producing and financing the fucking Super Mario Bros. Movie.
Good for him. It was a damn good movie.
It was just like the absolute the canyon between
Yeah.
the type and quality of the movies that he was involved in is just absolutely astounding to me. Like, do you think this
I mean,
is
it's
the
obvious
case?
that the Mario Brothers movie is just an allegory, and that Bowser de-evolving people is just a cover for genocide de-lifing people.
I say it's a white genocide film. Like, man, I don't understand, like, his motivation behind doing this, right? Like, it was the type of thing where, you get like, it was like, oh yeah,
Passion project.
my kids were playing their Super Nintendo, and like we're just like, daddy, you gotta make the funny Italian man into a real movie. It's just absolutely wild to me.
Yeah, and it's crazy to me to go from that movie with Bob Hoskins, like, may not be Italian, but just looks so fucking Italian.
He's absolutely
Like,
Italian coded. He's
yeah,
absolutely Italian
like
coded.
Yeah.
it's beautiful. He's a plumber. It's perfect. It's perfection. I have like 15
The body
uncles
type,
and cousins.
they say the body type is just perfect.
No, it was perfect. It was beautiful. And
And he's
John
like Mario,
Leguizamo,
short and round.
yeah, good casting as well. But to go from that to this just whitewashed shit show. Well, I mean, Andrew's the only one that saw it to say if it's good or not. But that's just a big leap. That doesn't sit well with me.
It is funny to me. It's like, yes, let us whitewash the Italians. Yeah, absolutely. That's totally a thing. That totally it can actually happen. But so Nintendo, sold this guy the rights and basically had a pretty hands-off approach. They gave the producers full creative control because I think they rightly understood that, the brand was strong enough to hold up to, this level of experimentation. Because, they went for some things here, they were like, they truly thought about like, yeah, let's just not make a for the fans kind of cash grab type of like Easter egg fest.
It wasn't Marvelized,
No, I mean, well, yeah. So luckily, that was not part of the zeitgeist at the time. But like, they actually tried to like make this like, not believable by any sense. Like the world building here is absurd. But like, it's like, let's like see where we can take this. Let's like, yes, the Bowser and his the Koopa army and all that shit. They're descended from an alternate reality where dinosaurs survived and evolved and became the dominant life form. It's like people
Hollow Earth theory.
Yeah, it's like that was my first comment because we started out the film with a Land Before Time ass like animation intro. We're talking about the dinosaurs, and apparently the the extinction level
event.
The extinction level meteor actually hit Brooklyn, not the Yucatan, and ended dinosaurs, but it actually propelled them through into the hollow.
Brooklyn is the Yucatan of New York City.
Somewhat apt. But it propels the dinosaurs into this alternate dimension through the hollow Earth.
Very avant-garde.
It basically flipped the world inside out.
But like, so basically,
how can you flip something inside out that is flat in a 2D plane?
Answer that, liberal. But it's like, so like all the people are, they're people. They look like humans, but they're all descended from lizards. They have the few little kind of reptilian quirks, like they, stick their tongue out like to taste the air every now and again. They, flick their heads in a weird way. And
it's quirks that you might see in our modern day politicians, similar similar mannerisms.
Yeah.
Similar. I'd like to make one correction. This might be the first video game adaptation, but this is not Nintendo's first time using Mario as the basis of a movie. 1989's The Wizard was essentially one long movie that was an ad for Super Mario Bros. 3.
What? The Wizard?
Yep.
It's just
Wizards
called
of
The
Waverly
Wizard.
Place.
Yep.
The Wizard, 1989.
It was essentially one long movie that was an ad for Super Mario 3.
Is about playing the game.
Yep.
I see he's got this. I see that Fred
The
Savage,
Power Glove.
Yeah, has the Power Glove.
Fred Savage is in it.
Yeah, he's the main character.
His brother's running for Congress.
Or is it? No, is it? No, yeah, it is Fred Savage. Yeah,
It's a wonderful movie.
it's not. It's not Corey from Boy Meets World. It's the other
Yeah,
one.
Corey's running for Congress though. In real life.
He's probably like after this is a digression, but after that absolute shit show travesty of the Girl Meets World, where they do blatant anti-communist propaganda on behalf of the Disney Corporation, I wouldn't surprise me if he's an absolute reactionary.
Oh yeah, he is. No, he's a shit lib. Like rad lib from California, running in California. There's been articles about how other cast members say how throughout their time knowing him, they've always disagreed with his politics, meaning they were
Right.
more left than him.
Listen, he needs to do something with his residual checks. So why not run for Congress?
Yeah, I don't know if those are pumping in anymore, but
This self-funding his way to a media position somewhere.
yeah.
Yeah. Dream.
ABC.
Right.
I mean, he's not going to go to CNN. He's got to stay in the Disney family.
So back to
anyways, just a
Nintendo
minor
and,
digression.
and Super Mario Bros. Was a critical and commercial failure on its release.
I wonder why.
Grossed 38.9 million against a budget of around or an estimated of like 48 million, but has since gone
straight up loss is not good.
Yeah, it has since gone on to reach a cult status though.
Here we are talking about it today.
Correct. And I now have it. Say again, listeners of the pod can't see, but on our Zoom call, you can see I now have the DVD case.
Luigi's defending it.
Yeah, it's on my display shelf. Put in a place of honor. But so it was like I already mentioned, made some significant contributions to the technical advances in movie effects. But because of its poor performance, it remained the only live action film based on a Nintendo property until Pokemon Detective Pikachu in 2019.
Damn.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
They've done animated movies, if you count like the Pokemon films.
Yeah.
Over a $10 million loss. Like that's a big number, but like that's not a huge
not that
number.
big.
But in 1993,
Yeah.
how much is that?
As a first movie, like video game adaptation, that's really sticking your neck out and being like, yeah, we're gonna try something different than losing money. Oof.
And Nintendo is so protective, quote unquote,
Yes.
of their IP,
Like,
right?
That's
21 million in today's dollars.
It is correct. It is correct that say their original assumption that even if this bombed like it did, it's not going to hurt the brand. Mario is still and Nintendo are still as successful as ever, right? But like, they are notoriously more risk averse than many other of the or at least the other of the big three.
Well, I mean, it's just the capitalism in Japan that that different than at least than how we in America operate our businesses.
And when was like when was the I forget when was like the great crash in not the video game crash, but like the actual economic crash in Japan?
I think that's
96.
yeah.
Filling time while he does some Google searching.
Oh, it was actually just before this. It was in
92.
It was 91,
Yeah,
92.
91.
Which like this, that's probably like this was right around the when it was probably being made and when it was being funded. So that probably played a
Doesn't help.
Yeah. But the 90s were
I love the
a rough
obvious sequel
time
at
in
the
Japan.
end for
for the sequel bait. Yeah, that never fucking.
I have an
never fucking
addiction to movies
materialized.
that set up sequel bait that never get sequels.
We finished the film and I was like scrubbing through the credits and Matt's like, no way there's a post-credit scene. And lo and behold, they did you're saying, Mike, it's not Marvel-fied. They marveled before Marvel had a chance. Ever had a chance.
Post-credit stinger setting up a sequel.
And then they also had the bit where the two Koopa cousins, they're the ones getting the video game pitch instead of the Mario Bros.
Yes.
That was a good bit. I did like that bit.
There were some great bits like throughout it.
Yeah, and so we'll go through them, but we've mentioned a few already, but like, you know, the major cast, there are some other standouts, but they're more minor characters. You know, Bob Hoskins as Mario. If they can't, they made canon that their last name is Mario, hence the Mario Bros.
That's why you have
Also, I mean, just they played it up in later in the movie where they're going through that Ellis Island style.
They're being put through processing,
assimilated into
with prison.
Yeah.
And Koopa prison, and it's like, how many Marios are there? Just the three. Is Mario, and Luigi Mario.
Yeah, just mirroring the Italian American experience of getting your names all fucked up or having like weird names at Ellis Island, getting an H changed to an I.
But I did love that little bit. Yeah, it's Mario, not even Mario Marioson. You know, it's like it's a family name. So yeah, John Leguizamo as Luigi. Samantha.
So let's just
it's Mario.
Yeah,
Mario. If Mario has a child and names it Mario, is
Is
that
it
Mario Jr.?
Mario?
And then if they have a child and name it Mario, is that Mario the third?
That's how naming conventions work. Yeah,
we could go to Italy and ask a few people. I'm sure they have varying answers.
Actually, with Marios, they just keep adding Marios, so it's Mario.
It's like
I was going to say, can we simplify the
function
function and can we just say Mario with a 2, 3, 4 as an exponent?
It's like the Goombas that stack in the Mario Party mini games. It's just Mario, and they stack on top of each other.
Mm-hmm.
You got to count
Someone
them.
who dated an Italian girl, she had like 8 middle names. So
yeah, your confirmation name. I bet you one of them was Mary. If not, it was Anne. Maria.
Couldn't name any of them. That was one of the things that was a breaking point.
So then we have the main actual driver of the plot, Samantha Mathis playing Princess Daisy, which was a surprise.
Who was the main princess at the time.
A bit of lore that I had not known before watching this. Same. But you know, she and Luigi, you know, start their budding romance,
as they do in the streets of New York, bumping into each other at a payphone.
Classic.
Nowadays, the most you can hope for are those shitty charging stations.
Oh, I was going to say just bumping into each other on the street because you're both looking at your phones.
Actually, they may have taken them all down,
gone.
But they took them all down officially recently. But they were just masturbation cubicles for homeless people for a while.
I mean, they need some place to do their business.
Should have left those in place. That's yeah.
Nobody's using them anymore.
Yeah.
Let it be the spot for Dirty Mike and the boys.
Thanks for the F Shack.
So then we got Dennis Hopper as King Koopa. You know, I don't know why they can't call him Bowser.
I also believe early on it was not Bowser. It was
Koopa.
At that level, he hadn't made the transition to be Bowser yet.
I don't think so. I think in Mario 3 he was still referred to as King Koopa, and then was
okay. And this is largely inspired by that game.
So Mario 3 is also unique to the series in the fact that it is everyone's favorite storytelling mechanism, all a dream.
which
Mario
can be
3
good. Hey, that fucking
Yeah.
slaps in Link's Awakening.
A Midsummer
Folks,
Night's Dream.
Stay tuned for our next episode coming out in 2 weeks.
Woohoo!
So I
Uh,
guess he was always Bowser King Koopa.
I knew he was
it-
called King Koopa at sometimes, but I never thought.
But
I thought
so in
yeah.
the games, I guess they refer to him as King Koopa, but like in the instruction booklets starting in the original game, it had his full name as Bowser King Koopa.
Probably a character limit because old cartridges had very limited bit size.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah,
it's still-
he's
it's
Bowser
still
King
yeah.
Koopa.
It's like I feel like he's just been most colloquially known as Bowser. So like in the movie that they
I
don't.
mean, it's a
not like there's
canonical
no-
representation
it's not like
of the
there's-
man himself, Doug Bowser.
So yes, but it's not like that they're staying that faithful to again they're being experimental with everything else as but like why stick with that if you think like like people are only gonna know that. I found that as weird as that they just call him Koopa and King Koopa. But then
yeah,
he's
I
got
wonder
his
if that was
girlfriend.
because
But
from
Koopa's got
2023, but like
Koopa's got his girlfriend Fiona Shaw, aka Aunt Petunia from the Harry Potter movies. She played her name is Lena. I don't know. It's not really.
You're gonna have to censor that, I guess, right?
I mean, that's just what I know her from.
It was just a joke anyway.
J.K. Rowling's going to come after us. But just, I wonder if it was because they're trying to be like avant-garde and didn't want to like necessarily associate it with Bowser, like the, the cartoony character.
Again, they call him Mario.
Yeah,
they're
I know.
embracing the cartooniness. Like, come on, it's
Yeah. No, you're right. I'm grabbing.
We know that if they were
grasping
being
at straws.
realistic, his name would have been Mario Zappelli.
If only. We have some sick needle drops again. Doing Marvel before Marvel had ever had a chance. All right, so should we jump into the movie itself?
I'm down.
I'm ready.
So I already said it opens with your animated intro of primordial Brooklyn and all that getting crashed into by the fucking meteor that kills the 65 million years ago, killing all the dinosaurs. That instead of actually dying, they get sent to a parallel dimension, and they remain as the dominant species and eventually evolve to effectively be humans.
I was confused at how it was a parallel dimension, but it existed within the core of the Earth.
I don't necessarily. I think that's just where
I don't think it is. It's like
just
a
where the-
wormhole.
Yeah, it's just a
Got it,
portal.
got
It was
it,
just
I
a
think they
portal.
were intentionally vague enough because if you think about it too hard, it falls apart.
Yeah, that's.
But it is not. It is not Hollow Earth. I did not believe
Got
they
it.
were
No,
implying
that was
Hollow
just
Earth
a bit.
theory.
No, that was just a bit.
Got it. Because I'm picturing what was the King Kong movie or not the
Yeah.
King Kong?
Yeah,
it was the
yeah.
King
Yeah.
Kong?
It's the MonsterVerse
yeah,
or
yeah.
the
Kong
whatever
versus
it's
Godzilla.
called,
yeah.
Godzillaverse.
I was picturing that.
Yeah,
place.
that literally has Hollow Earth is all about Hollow Earth. So we cut.
It's also
then
all
to-
real.
We cut to live action. It's like 20 years before present day. See a young woman, is scared and running along the streets of Brooklyn with a bundle in her arms, which she deposits on the step of a Catholic orphanage. She puts the bundle
Nome
down.
de Patris, Filii
Yeah, and
Sancti,
she
Amen.
Yeah, she
puts like
real missed opportunity to not have her screaming Salvation.
sanctuary.
Oh, is that's Hunchback
That's
of
Hunchback Notre Dame.
yeah.
She puts like it's the big MacGuffin of the plot, this blue shard of crystal into whatever the little carrying case thing is,
Egg.
which we then learn as the nuns open it is a fucking egg that births what appears to be a human child.
A Yoshi egg.
The woman runs back into the sewers and gets gooped by Koopa, who is like in his like military uniform, because I think it's implying it's before he's taken power.
Yeah.
before he's King
Well,
Koopa.
he's still in his fascist general phase.
Yeah.
Which I was so upset that they got rid of that costume so quickly. It was so sick. He's got his military costume, but then he's got the spikes on the shoulders.
I absolutely agree.
like
He should have been in it the whole time.
Yeah, he should have been the military dictator instead of basically the business dictator that he looked like. It just, I don't know, it hit so much harder.
Under capitalism, you could be both.
Some
Just the
say he was
aesthetics of
modeled
the
after
business.
Donald J. Trump before he was even president, but
They're
Then
really making some predictions there. They're like Nostradamus over there.
Yeah, they're
making
doing a
Marvel
lot
before
They're-
Marvel.
Yeah, they're doing a whole lot here. Again,
They did not
innovation, folks.
They did not predict one thing that we could talk about later because there were 2 towers still there.
In 1993, but in a way
Yeah,
they did
no, I know.
predict it. They did predict it.
Yeah.
So we cut to present day. Mario and Luigi are struggling plumbers, right? They can't get no work.
jobs.
They're getting
Luigi is only an apprentice.
That's true. Mario.
Luigi's
is the
also
is the
wasting all his
master
time
plumber.
playing damn video games.
But that's why he's got those mad computer skills later on. But like they're struggling to get work. They keep getting like out muscled by this. I don't think it's implied. It's not implied to be
Italian
a
on
union.
Italian crime.
It is a
Oh, yeah.
mob. It
Just
is
a
a
bigger
mobbed up.
plumber.
It is a mobbed up construction company that is a corporate plumbing place that's like beating them to all the jobs that they're getting calls for. And
Well, and this is a interesting time in New York City, at least in the real world, because you have this is just after or right around when Rudy's breaking up the mafia in New York City.
Wasn't
He's
93
doing-
also like the great trash problem of New York? When like
There's
the
always a great
trash was
trash problem.
stacked so high?
Probably. New Jersey wasn't accepting our trash. Pennsylvania was
I think
sending
it's the
it back.
80s, but I'm not positive.
I knew it was sometime around there.
Yeah, Rudy
And-
was doing Italian on Italian crime.
Anthony Scapelli. That's the name of the rival.
is also doing a construction bid around one of the bridges.
Doing some frauds.
Yeah, he's doing.
We do get
taking
incredibly
some
based
bribes.
moments from the Mario Brothers, though, when they criticize non-union labor.
Yeah,
as
must not have been
shoddy
a union
work.
job. Yeah. So like it's all around this bridge where one of the major bridges where an NYU archaeology student by the name of Daisy has unearthed some dinosaur remains is excavating
Yoshi remains.
some fossils, and Scapelli basically threatens to have her disappeared and done who knows what else to her.
He's gonna get the piano wire.
Back in the days when you could just openly threaten a woman in front of a newscaster and still be a successful businessman.
Be more successful, if anything.
So like she's all flustered, is trying to call the university for more security to help keep the project going, and
While being tailed by King Koopa's nephews.
the two cousins, Spike and Iggy, who at this point are incredible. They do some funny stuff with they order some hot dogs thinking that it's made of dog. They do
throw away the
Eat
bun.
it without the bun. Yeah,
shame. They do some classic New York stalkers. Like someone while we were watching it was like, wouldn't like somebody notice like
It was
the
me.
person. Yeah, it's like nope.
Nope.
That is perfect New York behavior. Like,
Yeah, all of it except the hot dog issue. And
Mhm.
Andrew could attest, if you're going to eat an E. coli dog off the side of the road, you got to have the bread. It helps with the digestive process. It has different enzymes.
Yeah, everyone
to help
knows that
break
if you're
the
going to eat a hot
coli.
dog without a bun, you don't even heat it and you just eat it straight out the pack.
Technically, they are cooked.
Yeah,
Very true.
My grandfather used to do that.
That's disgusting.
That's a wild move.
absolutely. Yeah, vile.
So this is where we first get our run in. The Mario Bros. Their van has broken down. They gotta fix the radiator. Mario's lamenting that he's got to spend like $3 for a bottle of Evian and can't just get some tap water from his local bodega. And
big ass bottle.
Surprised they have
too.
Avion. Yeah. Surprised it was not just Poland Spring that was rebottled.
The
tap water that was rebottled into a Poland Spring bottle.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Luigi is, calling their answering machine again, just another sign of the times. Like checking to see if they've got any jobs, and of course it's like there's someone's like, we got this huge flood. It's like, send all the plumbers
over here,
and he's just like transfixed by it because Daisy's waiting impatiently, and he's fallen in love already.
He's goo goo gaga.
Yeah, and so Mario's like, we got any jobs? And he's like, nope. Hangs up the phone, hands it to her, and like she doesn't have a quarter, gives her a quarter, and and he lays on the Riz real thick. Like,
it was some W Riz.
He's like Mario, watch this unspoken Riz, but it just proceeds to basically shit and piss himself, and it relies upon.
Well, then Bob Hoskins saves him.
His older brother multiple times.
Yeah.
Like offer her a ride that she needs back to the university. Then like when they get out of the car, they
invite her to dinner.
Yeah, ask her to dinner for him. But
you like
Daisy,
food?
Daisy is smitten as well. You see that the affection is mutual.
Yeah, this is back when movies were okay, having the cartoon scene where the woman walks up and his eyes pop out.
Awooga, boing, boing. So they missed an opportunity to, like, when he first sees her, to do some like funny like Mario sound effects.
Yeah.
They missed an opportunity for that. So they have dinner. Mario's got a smoking hot girlfriend.
He does.
Who I thought was a lady of the night at first.
But no, they're
if she was, it doesn't matter. This is a sex positive podcast. No freedophobia and sex positive.
But
only one of those things we're serious about.
And we'll never tell.
So I'm skimming through the plot here, and it's like they talk a little bit about like the Daisy, talks about her obsession with dinosaurs and feeling kind of out of time and place.
Daisy made the choice that everyone makes when they're 4 years old, and they made their identity based off one of the four
trucks, dinosaurs,
spaceships,
trains,
spaceships and trains. I think.
What type of autism do you have? That's the thing. But yeah. So she
that's going to be the future dystopian way they sort babies. They're going to set them in a room with those four toys.
It's
whichever
like
one they grab becomes
it's like
their class.
Like the Dalai Lama. It's like the Dalai Lama thing. Like they lay out the toys and see which ones they gravitate to. He is the chosen one,
right?
He is
new Dalai Lama has been.
Did they? I don't know about that. Isn't
I don't think so.
Dalai
I think
Lama
he's still kicking
alive?
it.
I'm pretty sure the Dalai Lama has to die because it's like reincarnation.
Yeah.
He's still walking around in his Gucci slides.
All I know is in Civ 6, the Dalai Lama is one of the people you have to watch out for. He's always looking to cut you down.
I watched, speaking of Civ, I watched some parody video on one of them, and it was basically just like it's a race to the clock to see who nukes who first, either you or Gandhi.
Yeah. That's apparently a running joke in the Civ community that Gandhi is one of the least stable people.
So like we see again it's Chekhov's crystal. She's a crystal mommy. We see like she's never taken the crystal off. She's had it since she was discovered on the church steps. They bond, they have their dinner. Luigi walks her home, and again they're both like, you must think I'm really weird, like it's like you must just tell me right now if you don't like me, and like I'll totally understand. And they bond over
Come
that.
up to my place.
Yeah, but then I'm pretty sure she immediately gets dino napped.
Yeah, she does.
Her and Mario's girlfriend, because the
looking for the princess.
the Koopa cousins, are so dumb. They've been kidnapping just all sorts of
Random women.
Females
women
in general.
off the street. Yeah,
Yeah,
just women.
just serially kidnapping women.
there's the plot point where like they show like a newspaper clipping, and there's a bunch of women that has. So that's the larger context of the threat that Scapelli makes to Daisy early on. Is like, don't you want to be one of those those women who's been disappeared, and who knows what's been happening to them. Because of the implications. He's supposed to back down.
Implications.
So she gets zorped. They
Looking out for her.
There's some great effects as she's trying to speak to them through the portal.
But before actually she gets nabbed. It's the Scapelli brothers not the brothers. The Scapelli company has sabotaged the work site, the dig site. They're starting to flood everything. So Daisy
because they're trying to get those no-show jobs.
Daisy calls them up and it's like, I need some plumbers now. And they make their way over, and they are, they turn off the flooding. They save the site.
They had a suit up animation before there was a Marvel suit up. They're really
firing on all cylinders here, but they're focused on, Mario's, cranking this shit down, and it's like number 5 wrench, all this shit. And like, Luigi's getting his apprenticing on, and they eventually shut it down. But while they are concentrating on getting the last bit tightened up, the Koopa cousins come out and fucking bonk them on the back of the head, and steal Daisy, but not hard enough that the brothers come to consciousness to hear her screaming and crying out for Luigi's help, and they follow her down through the pipes. And this was another great bit where it's like they have like a divergence in the underground pathway of where to go, and Luigi wants to go this way, and Mario's like, no, that's the echo. That's the echo. It's this way. It's like, how do you know? It's like, please, I'm a plumber. I've been dealing with pipes all my life. And just, of course, he knows the right way to go.
It implies that he has been chasing people screaming through the
through the sewers all his life. Yeah.
Two things there. One, they missed a great opportunity for an anime style like Sailor Moon suit up animation, putting them in. I just pictured like the Rick and Morty episode where they suit up Jerry and they like reuse it a couple times. The episode where he with the fortune cookie, they could have just suited up Mario and Luigi. But also that that line, I've been a plumber, I've been dealing with pipes my whole life. You take out plumber or pipes and put in any other like a profession, and every Italian father and Italian men has said that to their son or grandson in their life, and it uses it as their excuse for knowing everything.
They eventually find her just as she's getting sucked into the portal, and Luigi tries to grab out at her, but only catches onto the crystal mommy necklace and yanks it off, and she gets pulled through. Luigi has faith in the wild and the unknown, and jumps headfirst after her. Mario
goes for it.
Notably,
if this was a movie released like 10 years later, they would have done a comical moment of him bonking into the wall first without holding the crystal.
They show up, and boy, they're not in Brooklyn anymore. They're in the city of Dino Hatton, which is another which is another great bit, because instead of Manhattan, it's Dino Hatton. I thought it was fucking awesome.
That's what happens when you write a paper or you copy a paper and then you just synonym search all your words out.
It's such a good little
cinnamon search.
Cinnamon. They have their Dorothy moment. We're not in Brooklyn no more. They push through the crowds. They do they catch sight of Iggy and Spike. Those are the Koopa cousins taking Daisy to Koopa. They are trying to chase them, and then they have their run-ins with the various side characters. We get Toad is a rebellious street musician who gets immediately arrested for singing anti-Koopa propaganda songs. Really weird choices for Toad there. I didn't quite get that one. Didn't quite land for me.
They get this weird choice to make them all humanoid. Like these dinosaurs evolved into what look like mammals. How did that fucking happen?
The only difference is they call people egg suckers
evolution
instead of cocksuckers.
But in biology, I think they call that convergent evolution, where multiple species adapt the same eventual evolutionary traits.
Similar traits,
It's the thing. It's like everything eventually becomes a crab.
Yeah, exactly.
The perfect life form.
Yeah,
like the horseshoe crab has never evolved. Same as it was. God's perfect creature.
Everyone knows that a perfect creature can get flipped onto its back and be invalidated.
And here, like watching over all this, we get our first look at a Goomba, which was another bit that really bothered me. That they
and we had an argument over trying to figure out what the fuck those dudes were, whether they're Goombas or Koopas. Before,
I'm going to take the win here and say that I'm now 1-1 in this movie. 1 win, 1 loss. That's even.
It just, it would have been a decent adaptation thing to, make them be the Koopas. They're reptilian. They look turtle-like. It made total sense to do that. But then
you even had a goopy mushroom dude, which Goombas are mushrooms, more or less.
Yeah, that's why I was confused.
Exactly. No, it was such an odd choice to do that one. It's one that will bother me continuously.
Yeah. I thought Goombas looked like hamburgers for the longest time.
Maybe an Impossible Burger. Hey. So we here in like this shot of Dino Hat, and we get like our most like our largest selection of Easter eggs and references and all that kind of things. We see like our Thwomp Stompers, Toad, things being asked for Koopa coins,
bullet
bills,
weapon shop.
You keep seeing a couple bob-ombs being offered to
by the fungus
among us.
Fungi.
Like so this whole a big driving part of like Koopa's motivation that we learn is that like this reality is being overrun by this like semi-sentient fungus, which we learn why that exists later on. All their natural resources have been kind of
Goop's taking over in another movie.
Yeah, the everything is
another thing they predicted.
So they need basically, it's not just for like world domination type thing. Yes, that it does kind of play a part.
Survival.
It's literally it's like that they can't survive in their current. And so Mario and Luigi have
devoid of resources
saved our reality, but doomed an entire other civilization to a slow and painful death.
That's what happens when you lose the resource war, baby.
Yeah, water wars coming to a state near you. We see a whole bunch of things. The Big Bertha takes steals the crystal from them. Lots of crystal mommies here. So she takes the crystal and thwomp stomps away. Koopa.
Is her name actually Big Bertha? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Amazing naming convention.
Isn't that a character in the game?
I thought it was. I thought it was a reference.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like a bird thing.
I thought it was one of the fish.
I got this.
Yeah, it's a fish.
It's a fish. Okay.
Yeah, big cheap.
But yeah, that was a reference. So Toad gets arrested. They get arrested because Koopa puts out a hit on 2 plumbers. He hates plumbers.
Yeah, doesn't he say like there's plumbers again or something? Or am I imagining that?
I feel like there was something around that, but like, yeah, it's like he's got some weird unspoken history with plumbers.
At least no one's surprised by him putting out like an all hands on deck, kill some plumbers order. Like everyone's like, yep, business as usual. So,
I mean, the man clearly just hates functioning running water and aqueducts.
So the brothers are eventually arrested and they're thrown into a cell with Toad. They are Koopa tries to do a little bit of trickery with them, pretends to be their lawyer. But he's also a germaphobe, which is an interesting little character thing. But man, Dennis Hopper did not need to go as hard as he did.
He goes so hard,
just chewing the shit out of the scenery here. Absolutely going ham. Even
he's
with
so good,
even with like the weird kind of exposition dumps that he has to give about all the resources being gone. I must merge our two realities. I need to find. He's obsessed with finding the princess for some reason. He doesn't necessarily. He obviously needs the crystal. He needs the crystal, but he's also like it's like he's infatuated.
She's the only one who can like
Daisy.
truly activate it or something.
Okay, it's something. I guess it's more like that she has the connection to it.
Still a stronger plot point than holding up a dagger or standing in the right spot to find a.
It's a map, man. Shut up.
The one of my favorite bits was he claims to be
descendant of a T-Rex.
Well, no, that's true, but it's like as their lawyer, he claims to be Larry Lazard of Lazard, Conda, Dactyl, and Cohen.
And Cohen.
Yeah. So there are still Jewish lawyers in this reality.
I mean, they never got Jesus because of when the meteor came. So
that's fair.
Judaism is still a prevailing.
Yeah, that's fair. Damn, that was a good ass point. Maybe Jesus.
According to the Bible, Jesus rode dinosaurs. So
just love Lazard, Condodactyl, and Cohen.
Cohen.
Well, he drops the pretense really, really fast. He
almost immediately.
He's like, "Where's the damn crystal?" And he basically he's like, "All right, it's time to goopify these suckers." He brings them and Toad into the de-evolution chamber, and zaps Toad into where we finally realize that these things are the Goombas. He's de-evolved, so he's got this huge ass body, but little reptile head. And but in order so that we know that he's Toad, they give him back his harmonica stand.
And he has the smallest head too.
His Bob Dylan harmonica
holder, neck holder.
It's so funny. It's just like, why would they give it back to him? Like,
he proceeds to wear it the rest of the movie.
He uses it a couple times too, but it's purely so that we know that that's Toad. Yeah. That's the only reason they did. The filmmakers are thinking it's like, how do we make if
we make it too subtle, they won't figure it out.
Yeah, I wonder how we make this look like Toad, the thing that wears a mushroom on its fucking head that's red and white.
That we turned into a reptile that looks like a Koopa, but not a Goomba, but is a Goomba.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
So they try to, they easily escape from the clutches of their captors and they strap Koopa into the chair and try to
actually comically get away from what is like, if you look at it, like if they can get away that easily, how is this group risen to power this way with such
it's because
flimsy means?
Getting away from the Goombas isn't hard, just because they all have pea brains. But there are actual like fully evolved, they're still cops. They're still cops. They're and say they're still cops. So again, not the brightest bunch. So still believable, I guess. But yeah,
like an IQ point higher than the Goombas.
they're not sending their best. They strap Koopa into the chair and they try to de-evolve him, but it doesn't take, or it doesn't last long enough, so he just gets a little shaken. But it's a little bit of foreshadowing. They flee the area. Luigi tries to take a bomb, but Mario doesn't let him. They escape. There's a pretty sick chase scene with the futuristic cars are so funny. So one, they have electric vehicles in this in this universe.
Well, I mean, because they can't burn themselves.
Yeah.
There are no fossil fuels.
Yeah, no fossil fuels.
Yeah. Have to do electric.
That is funny as hell. But a great chase scene, just some absolutely gratuitous crashes. There was one in particular where it was not involved at all with any of the cars that were in pursuit or whatever. It's just it cuts, and then there's just a random car just flies off. They're basically oh yeah, we had this set in the budget and we had this extra car. Let's just blow it up and put it on film.
And not only that, but it does a car stunt jump. It just goes off a ramp for no reason and crashes into a wall.
It was one of the best bits, though.
I enjoyed that every vehicle, to show that it was electric and futuristic, just had sparklers sticking out of the front, essentially.
There's so many sparks just going off of everything. That's how they were saying, oh yeah, it's industrial but technologically advanced at the same time, and crude but advanced and dangerous and all this shit. But yeah, so they have this chase scene. They eventually drive through a tunnel that is incomplete because Luigi has one of his instincts. And they are, they shoot at the end, but are saved by the spider web conglomeration of the fungus that keeps them from crashing into a fiery death.
Missed opportunity to use an entering pipe sound when going into the tunnel.
Yeah, they didn't
just have pipes sticking out anywhere.
They didn't use enough effects or whatever. And we also talked about how it was a missed opportunity to have the portal itself be a pipe.
Yeah. Have them look down into a pipe and then get sucked in and hear the whoop whoop whoop.
We learned a little bit more about Koopa's plan, right, which we've already mentioned, so no need to go off on that. But he's disappointed in the cousins and their inability to get anything done, so they think they're being de-evolved as punishment, but instead he evolves them. And this was a part that I missed. Then it was they then, as soon as they're evolved, they basically turn on Koopa, but they make
pretty quickly.
They make it seem as if oh no, we've always our incompetence was actually part of the plan. We've always been devoted to the original king, which we learned was Daisy's father, who was the first person to ever be de-evolved
into a mushroom,
this absolutely disgusting goo.
Yeah, they spent either way too much or way too little money on the effect for the mushroom. I'm not sure which one is better or worse.
Yeah, I did find it, or when I was watching it, had to think about that, because think, did we hear anything earlier on? Did I miss something where they pledged their allegiance to someone else, or let that slip? But it was just kind of out of nowhere when they
well, I think it's more that Koopa treats them like shit.
Yeah, and they realize that once they have a better IQ.
Well, because then they start spouting off some actual
oppressor of the proletariat.
Yeah, so communist rhetoric.
Very communist movie.
You call him a fascist, and
based.
Pro
union.
They got evolved and started reading theory, and just almost immediately. But
that's why it's sci-fi, because no leftist actually reading theory.
They eventually meet up with Mario and Luigi in the Badlands, and they kind of team up and work together. Daisy meets Yoshi, who is like a household pet of the royal family. She's an actual dinosaur.
Yep.
Who is just constantly mistreated by Koopa.
Which is like if our pets were normally monkeys.
Yeah.
But we that Lena, the Koopa's girlfriend, talks about how, further explains why Koopa is, obsessed with Daisy, that, not only is it that he's after the crystal shard, but that, yeah, she's the only one who has the power to remerge the two realities. This was such a funny bit, the introduction of the devolution gun. It just like just thinking about like, like the alternate dinosaur CIA just hard at work on the devolution gun.
I'm sure that our actual CIA has at least thought of that. Like how there is at least one schematic.
Yeah. Could we do it?
It feels like most fantasy and regular have some form of that. Like D&D is Feeble Mind, which is essentially de-evolving somebody.
It's like, do we have a gun that can make somebody mentally handicapped?
Havana syndrome. I wonder if that was a failed attempt.
Is basically what they try to do. He's arming his army of I keep wanting to call them Koopas.
Yeah, of Goombas.
They're army of Goombas with devolution guns. Who like there should have been some good bits of them just like shooting each other with the guns.
So we only see
the Goombas had some great bits, like the dancing in the elevator part.
Yeah,
100%.
So we saw only 3 Koopas: the cousins and Bowser, and then everything else is Goombas, Toad, Yoshi.
You could imply that his wife could have also been a Koopa.
Bowser's wife, yeah.
Because you know that man ain't marrying outside the bloodline.
Yeah, he's not diluting his pure Tyrannosaurus genetic stock. I'm looking at this thing and like, are all these other bits supposed to be references? Like, were the sludge gulpers those trucks? Is that supposed to be like a? I don't know why this has some special hyperlink here. Like like that itself was a reference. It's just a fucking garbage truck. But like, yeah, they infiltrate. They kill some, or they knock out some dudes, steal their masks, hijack this truck, and with the aid of the Koopa cousins, and are able to get back into the city, where they go to Big Bertha's dance club, and Mario seduces her.
Moves on.
Yeah, seduces her.
Great scene.
That
was so much Italian riz.
But by being a pain pig. That's how he actually gets her. Is like she punches
matriarchal society.
He's like
Italian men.
Punch me again, mommy, and that turns her on. So they start dancing erotically, and he's able to steal the crystal from her.
Italian men may put up a hard facade, but down, when it comes down to it, they just want to be submissive and beat by their wives.
The brothers, however, are informed upon by one of the coat check people. But despite being spurned, Big Bertha is still smitten with Mario, so she helps them escape, gives them a pair of thwomp stompers, and they jet on out of there.
This is opportunity to not have the boing jump sound.
Yeah. That is definitely, I think, the biggest criticism they could have, because the sound effects for the Mario movies, right, or the Mario games are such an integral part of the experience. So many Nintendo games, that is a huge part, not just, you say, soundtrack, but also sound effects. That is a huge element of it. of the experience. So yeah, there was a lot of missed opportunities on that front. But they probably thought like,
and you
oh,
could even have
that'd
it
be too
like
silly.
just be like the Thwomp Stompers make that sound. You could just have that be canon.
Mm-hmm. It's probably, it's just they probably like, oh, it's too silly. We can't do that. It's too silly. But like, there's so much else that's silly in this movie. I don't see why why they draw the line there. That's like that's probably my biggest criticism. So they escape. They've got the crystal at one point. I forget when they lose it. They lose it. They get it back, but then lose it pretty quickly. I forget who gets it, but like
the girlfriend gets it.
Yeah,
Lena oh, that's right. Okay, like
yeah,
they drop it or something, and Lena gets it, but she doesn't give it to Koopa right away because she's got her own machinations. Because again, so many of this generation of movies, it's just the moral of the story is don't trust women.
Women are bad.
A message we've
said it before.
Co-signed, yeah, a message we heartily co-sign here.
We may be against freightophobia, but misogyny, we're on board.
So it continues. They've got more. They've got more shit going on. I think this is when they don their actual
the iconic red and green.
Which went by so fast. When the actual, I didn't even leave. I just like looked away for 1 second.
Yeah, you blinked
and totally missed when they got the suits.
Same.
It was just like I was looking. They had them. Looked away. Looked back, and they were wearing them. I was like, okay.
And they just weren't like that. Was one of my biggest issues with it. Was like they weren't good looking. You didn't have to make them exactly like the cartoon or the video games, or make it video game-ish, but you could have just given them better like looking overalls and a fucking red
just
shirt.
Go buy a pair of overalls from the store.
Yeah, make it look like fucking Robert
regular
Pattinson
working overalls
in that the black and white movie that everyone colorizes and it looks like live action Mario. It's like the Old Man by the Sea or some shit like that. Whatever. Lighthouse, yeah.
Oh yeah, Robert Pattinson. Like they did a colorized version. They did a colorized version, and it was like making him look like Mario. It was awesome.
Yeah, they just needed those overalls and that cap, and he never had the cap.
He does have a cap.
They wear a cap when they wear the outfits.
It's not good.
The rift emerges between Koopa and Lena, and she's like going off on her own and is jealous of his infatuation with Daisy, and she's just going off and doing her own thing. She's like there's pettiness between Lena and Daisy, and again, women be hating other women and all that, and Daisy's able to kind of escape thanks to Yoshi stepping in, but then Yoshi takes a stab in the neck, but manages to,
which I mean, they try to play off as this big sad moment, but we all know if you've actually played Mario, you've slaughtered hundreds, thousands of Yoshis in your life.
They've just fallen.
Yoshis
are
a tool to be used in the Mario universe. If you are jumping a gap and you need to make more distance, they are gone.
You eject immediately, send them plummeting to their deaths. Yeah, then we have the Goomba elevator dance scene where it's like they're stuck in an elevator with all these Goombas, and they start playing some music or something, and they get them dancing and swaying because apparently they're all music heads, and they all start then dancing with each other and are able to.
It's because everyone knows a simple mind will just sway to a beat.
I mean, because you could get 33% of people to do anything or like agree to anything, but when you have a pea brain like that, 100% they're all just swaying and dancing.
Then we see Toad again. He helps Daisy escape, but then gets set on fire for his troubles. I don't think
he also
Toad
asked
ever
for vegetables at one point, right? Like, that was a big
because he brought her like raw lizard meat or something, to eat, and she's like, "I'm a vegan. I'm a vegetarian." I don't know if veganism was a thing.
Yeah.
Then,
It's just the default now to make fun of someone.
Do you have any steamed vegetables? So like, yeah, they meet with, he's got this plate of steamed vegetables, but she's like, no, I need to escape, and he distracts these two other Goombas, but takes a shot, a fireball shot to the back, and is set on fire. No, he survives, but still,
Yeah.
she's like, I hope he's okay.
Shouldn't, because Goombas are all one-hit kills in canonical Mario, and he should have immediately just disappeared.
Disintegrated.
But that's where they cross paths. She cross paths with Iggy and Spike, the Koopa cousins, as they're getting sent to their execution. So they team up and are, you know, escaping together. They're the ones. Yeah, they claim that, you know, they're her most loyal supporters. They bring her to her father's de-evolution chamber, the fungal, you know, where the fungal core of the Mushroom Kingdom exists, and you know, she basically, you know, has the catch up with the fungus dad. You know, it's like, I hope you're proud of me,
It was way
fungus
cooler
dad.
with that than you'd anticipate too.
Yeah, took to it really quick.
Yeah, she's like, oh, hey dad, you're this gelatinous horrifying blob, but sup?
I mean, she doesn't know any other.
I mean, but she lived on Earth and has a degree from NYU. Like, she knows what a father is, you know?
Maybe that wasn't covered in her archaeology courses.
There's some funny little platforming bits that the Mario Brothers do. They, you know, they eventually find all the women who've been kidnapped by the.
They didn't sip tea
by the
either,
Koopas.
which is just.
You know, they find all the women. Mario, you know, puts on the Italian charm and gets all the. Again, another funny bit where, again, they're just making fun of women, where it's like Mario's sneaking in and like gets his girlfriend's attention. It's like, you know, like, well, let's do this stealthily. Like, let's take him out. And no, the girlfriend does it okay, but then it's like one of the women that she's befriended here, you know, she's like, be quiet, but look, my boyfriend Mario is up there, and she goes, Mario, and just completely blows his cover. One of my favorite other little bits here is one of these women, you know, the real hero of this story is her lit cigarette, that like they go through all these things. She's like, you know, she's smoking a cigarette. They had like, the brothers had like turned on the air conditioning to screw up the plumbing or whatever, to be able to help their way to navigate through the pipes and shit. And so like all the women are huddling around the lit cigarette, and then they eventually, you know, they take out the Koopas that are keeping guard. Then they do some mattress sliding down one of the frozen pipes to get away from the others, and they fly out from the exit, crash into like that main area of Dino Hatton that we saw before, that big kind of square. It basically looks like Times Square in Dino Hatton. And
Yeah,
and she's still smoking the cigarette. This woman still got the cigarette.
That's
lit.
very early
tobacco
90s.
paid to make sure that cigarettes didn't go out.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Did they ever mention the brand?
No,
Because
doesn't burn too fast.
She lands and everyone's like, "Wow, your cigarette's still lit." She's like, "Marbreads, best cigarette out there."
That's why I smoke cool cigarettes.
Yeah, why I only smoke Parliaments.
Yeah, so the armies of Koopa are you know, are being sent out to, you know, the plan is coming to fruition. He thinks he's got Daisy, thinks he's got the crystal. Things are going. He's setting the troops ready to go invade the other reality. But all of them eventually escape. The Mario eventually tricks Koopa into thinking that he's got the crystal now, just by taking out a shoelace and pretending to wave it around from him like it's the strap of the necklace. And, you know, Koopa is just, you know, a dumb lizard. So they, you know, he buys
Score
it.
one for mammal brains. When he uses the de-evolution gun and turns the man into a chimpanzee. like to point out he's made a more dangerous creature for himself to deal with.
Yeah, for sure.
Like
That's a
we
good
said, we were
point.
watching it. That monkey absolutely ripped off several people's genitalia on set.
Yeah.
It did some throat rips. It was the
monkeys
inspiration.
Monkeys are evil little guys.
They really are, man.
They are
one of my favorite.
They're personification of what would eventually become human malice.
One of my favorite clips on the internet is the guy fucking with the orangutan at the zoo, and then the orangutan grabbing his like shirt and just ripping him in and not letting him go, and just not being able to get away from
now.
it. And like it eventually
you
grabbed
fuck on
his
me.
leg
You fuck on me.
with its feet hands.
Yeah, so some final fights are happening. I missed some bit here. Like I forget who actually starts the merging, because Lena tries to do it, but then gets zapped into a skeleton. She becomes a fossil. She gets zapped into the back wall of like the meteor chamber and gets turned into
and
a
that's how they
skeleton.
began using fossil fuels and staged out their electric vehicles.
But like the merging starts to happen, and there's fights going on between Mario and Koopa, and the merging of essentially does happen. And so we hinted at this, like one of the major differences in the realities is that basically it seems that in the Koopa reality, 9/11 did happen. One of the Twin Towers is partially destroyed, and so that's one of the telltale things that they show of the realities merging. Not only do Koopa and a couple Goombas and the Mario Brothers get zapped back into our the Prime universe, but the regular Twin Towers get swapped out for the destroyed ones. So it's
Dude,
they're predicting 9/11.
All things point to Bush did 9/11.
We know that Osama bin Laden was a huge weeaboo. That he loved Japanese culture, so he probably.
If I remember correctly, he was a big fan of Sailor Moon. Was one of his,
and Naruto. Naruto. He had like every single episode of Naruto on VHS, run. I think, or no,
it was on a hard drive.
Yeah, he had a bunch of VHS, but like it was on a hard drive.
He was definitely doing
every episode of Naruto. Believe it. I will be the next Hokage.
What's the name of the hand gesture things?
I mean, that's just hand symbols, but he does shadow clone jutsu.
No, but like there's a thing there's a name for him.
Gun katas.
Each one technically has names like Ox.
No, but there's an overall name for the different for like. It's
gun katas.
I mean, they're not using guns.
I know.
Where they go, they don't need guns. They throw fireballs at each other with their own energy. Fill in empty time while he's Googling.
Yeah, no, I can't find it. I thought it had an actual
Don't forget
name.
to check out our merch store.
But yeah, they some fighting goes off. They finally actually Mario pulls out a bomb. And people
he finally trusts the fungus.
It's a tiny little it's
wind up toy.
It's a wind up toy with the little feet, and
it looks like they made it in like 4th grade art class.
People literally are like, it's like he's got a fucking tactical.
He's got a bomb.
It's like it's like he's got a tactical nuke. It's like, oh no, bomb. There's like he causes it's a very again funny little bit where the bomb like gets set off and going, and Koopa's really nervous, but then it like falls down a grate or something, and he laughs like he's succeeded. But then as the fight's going back and forth, we cut back and forth to the bomb still plugging along, keep going. It can walk up and down walls, and it's like it walks through traffic, causes like a 10-car pileup. As people, basically it's like, are they about to do a car bombing on in Super Mario Brothers 2? But eventually it makes its way behind Koopa and blows him to shit. But it doesn't kill him; it just sends him flying. And eventually they are victorious they hit him with his own weapons. They de-evolve him first into a dinosaur. and then into primordial sludge. They goop them. It's
And then
always
to
goop.
dust.
It's
Goop
always
him.
they
From dust you came and dust you shall return. Name that religion.
It's all goop in the end.
Pretty sure that's also an anime quote from Hellsing.
Literally is well, because I mean that makes sense. It's from Catholicism. When on Ash Wednesday, when they be the ashes, from dust you are to dust you shall return.
But everybody's super psyched that the glorious
dead.
dictator has been destroyed. They totally
Overthrown by
gloss
two plumbers from Brooklyn.
They totally gloss over it, but just by de-evolving Koopa, it's re-evolves the old king who just becomes human again, and they the Mario brothers they're celebrating their victory, but Daisy decides she's got to stay where she is. This is where she belongs.
They're my people.
It's my home.
So they have a tear-filled goodbye.
Luigi goes home, cries into a box of Kleenex, cries in air quotes.
And he's all but they get on the news. They get on the news for
Heroes.
their becoming and that's when they get the
Super
title
Mario
of the
Bros.
Super Mario Bros. And they get all the work that they could ever need. And that's when the movie cuts. We then get the post-credit scenes where Daisy returns 3 weeks later.
We need your help.
In a Lara Croft cosplay.
Yeah. It's time to get back to work.
It's time to do.
So that is roughly the plot of the 1993 Super Mario's movie, which let's just before we wrap up and give our final scores, just how'd you guys feel about it? What were did you enjoy the film? I mean, for me, I know it had that that just nostalgia 90s movies that I just really enjoyed. I kept thinking about, and maybe because it had somewhat similar, although I doubt it was probably the Henson, effects, the creature workshops, the Jim Henson creature workshop stuff, but it just made me think of the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies, and I loved those growing up. So I don't know.
So it brought you back to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It brought me back to the Power Rangers movie with Ivan Ooze. Which is not a great thing to.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I had largely positive feelings about it.
Same. I think Andrew said it when we were watching, but it's this movie is better than any movie I've seen in the past year. And, I think that's totally true.
Yeah,
it was, it took risks. It was fun, stupid, didn't take itself too seriously.
For me, I enjoyed this more than I expected to. I thought I would at least have fun watching it, but I genuinely thought this was a decent movie, especially compared to the negative press it got and what you hear about it as this enormous commercial flop. I think it has the right mix of camp and that 90s nostalgia that Ben was hinting at, and that's something that I definitely like as well. And it's just, we don't get those movies anymore where it still feels like parts of it could have been made by a college student. And this movie has some of those scenes, and I will always hold those sorts of movies kind of near and dear to my heart. But I thought this was fun. I really did kind of enjoy it.
So this is where I zag. I found this movie incredibly forgettable, and
it's fair.
Just very bland. There was a lot of surrealism, but there's also it just all kind of blended together into just a sludge is a great way to describe it. And I found it very forgettable, again being the apt term.
Yeah, see, for me, the plot itself as like kept having to refer to back to like this fucking Super Mario Bros. Wiki, for it. The plot itself, yeah, kind of meshed together. To me, it was the visual, it was the aesthetic nature that I found that most stand out and most most memorable. Not necessarily anything about the plot. I found the performances good. I like the performances, but
I love Hopper.
In terms of the plot, I think you're right, man. I think it is very forgettable.
No, that's a fair critique that I would. I mean, because I enjoyed
right
it does not mean it's good.
It has the late 80s, early 90s like aesthetic to it because like it was made then. So it's gonna like hit that nostalgic pill for us differently. But like I said, it brought me right to Power Rangers and Ivan Ooze, and
that's very fair. I do want to, before we kind of wrap this up, I have seen the Super Mario Bros. Movie. I saw it
Illumination Studios.
Yep, saw it on what is it? Was it
be
opening?
Referred to like they do with Doom, where it's Super Mario Bros. Is the original one, and then you have to call it Super Mario Bros. 2023. Talk about the new one.
Yeah, Super Mario Bros. 2023, and I'm not going to give away a whole lot of spoilers.
Spoiler alert: Peach doesn't get kidnapped in the end.
But no. However, there are some very interesting parallels in the general plot, being that Mario and Luigi are in Brooklyn to start this film. They are stopping or trying to fix a leak happening within the pipes and stumble on a warp pipe that brings them to Toad's.
It's an isekai
kingdom.
Story.
And then
if it was isekai, they would have been hit by a truck.
And then ultimately
or crushed by a vending machine.
Crushed by a vending machine. And ultimately the conclusion might involve some of those worlds coming together, similar to this one. So I found it interesting that the stories echoed themselves more than I expected them to. But that's all I'll say for the time being. I did like the new one.
My roommate enjoyed it too.
Nothing crazy, but
which one do you like? Which one did you like better, though? Putting you on the spot.
The pause tells me it's the new one. And he doesn't want to admit it.
Yeah.
No, it's maybe just a little bit, but like honestly, I would kind of put them at the same level. They do different things better. Like,
understand, this is the equivalent of telling your friends that you think Gohan is better than Goku.
criminal, straight to jail, straight to hell. No, straight to actual hell, where you must run Snake Way for eternity.
I mean, I guess if like you were to ask me which of those two movies I would rewatch at this point, if I had to rewatch one, I would probably get a little more enjoyment out of rewatching the old one. Just because like there's a little bit more to kind of look at. It's not just the same as most of our other newer movies.
He's trying to save this right now. He's backpedaling.
We must hold him accountable.
I think it's time to give it our scores, though.
Yeah. So we do
movie and adaptation
as a film
single
first.
Digit decimal.
So we'll do it as we'll do each score. Everybody goes around the horn. We'll do each one first. So who wants to go first for as a film?
I'll go.
He's speaking and I'm not hearing anything.
You came in at the end there, but nope. Now
Yeah.
it's gone.
Now it's gone.
Good now?
Being weird.
Yeah.
Back?
Yeah.
My internet said it was unstable.
And it's
gone. Oh no, he's gone again.
All right, we'll let Mike deal
we'll
with
go
his
with someone else until he can.
Yeah, deal with his technical difficulties.
He might just have to hold up fingers.
Yeah, we'll interpret.
On a film basis, I'm gonna go with I'm gonna give it a 5.7. You know, this is pretty much right in the middle for me. It's not like terrible. It's not bad. I'd rewatch it, like I said, if I had to. But it's
I
not
love that
better than the 5.
I love that your qualifier is I'd rewatch it if I had to. You're
Yeah.
essentially saying that if someone put a gun to your head, like, watch this movie, you were like, fine, I will rewatch this movie.
Yeah.
My movie score, 4.7.
Okay.
I think it falls below the 50% failure mark for me.
All right. That's fair.
I found overall, like I said, bland and forgettable, aside from like cool practical effects, I guess, propping it up a little bit.
I'm going to give it I'm going to probably be the absolute outlier here, but I'm going to give it a 6.9. Nice.
See, the nice thing there is we're gonna now average out to like right on Andrew's score, because we basically went in opposite extreme directions.
Because like for me, it's like, yeah, the plot criticisms, bring it down absolutely. Can't bring it over the 7 mark, but like I really like like you said, I like the effects, I like the visual aesthetic of it, I like the performances, I like how bold they were in trying to do something different, you know, that they were truly willing to take a risk, which just doesn't fucking happen anymore.
No one.
I mean, they were trying to be the first adaptation, which is why my adaptation score will be more casually curved.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think that this is I'm more positive on this, and I think I will fully admit that it is all about kind of like, you know, hindsight and about
retrospective bias.
Yeah, exactly. And knowing that well, it's just thinking about just being kind of, I fully admit that I'm stuck in the kind of nostalgia of it, of the era.
You've been nostalgia pilled.
I understand that I'm maybe being a little uncritical there, but just undeniably it looks great. I think it looks really good. I think the main performances are really very good. Some of the writing is quite good. Like the bits are very, very funny. And they're intentional. They're not, it's not like, oh, this wasn't meant to be funny. Like the bits that are funny, they land well. And they're not cringy. It's none of that shit. It's just, yeah, like a lot of the exposition shit just doesn't hit, and the plot becomes a little bit rote and forgettable.
Now, Mike, can we hear Mike?
Can we hear Mike? If not, you're just going to give us a nope, can't hear you. So just give, either put it in the chat.
Just give us,
or give us
your hands.
Give us the
to
fingies.
Show us the first digit, and then hold up again for 5.
5 points.
Just 5 flat.
5.9. 5.9. All right.
Okay. Statistically average height for a human male.
All right. So unfortunately, we can't get Mike's reasonings for that, but I feel like we've gotten some good opinions.
Yeah, I think we've covered. If we've covered most of your points.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. We're good.
All right. So that gives us an average score of 5.8, right around Andrew's score.
Yep. Which makes sense. I kind
of wanted
okay
to get it
that.
a little bit above the 6 mark. You know,
no.
I think it's I think it's deserving of that. Particularly in the terms of what we've covered so far. I think it's better than a good amount of the stuff we've watched so far. So I think that's a little low, but this is a democracy.
Now it's adaptation time.
Now it's time for adaptations. Who wants to go?
I give it north of a 6 for an adaptation.
So Mike is throwing up a 7. Straight 7.
7 flat.
7 flat. All right.
Okay. I was gonna say like a 6.3, 6.4 area, because they do cover a lot of the check boxes to give you, your your little like point at the screen moments, you're like, I know that name. Like they have enough of that without being blatant with it. There's no like, they don't get crushed by a thwomp and you go like, oh look, it's a thwomp. Thwomp stompers. That's a cool.
Well, that just thwomped. Yeah.
Well, that. Are you telling me I'm in a
Yes.
parallel version of Earth where dinosaurs became the humanity, and now I've got a talking wrench?
All right, I kind of think Mike's in the right area for me. I'm gonna go with a 7-2. And honestly, I'm giving them points for creativity on it. They
my generosity is based on the fact that it is the first video game adaptation, and there's a lot that they were being, given the freedom to try out with.
Oh, absolutely. That's factoring into my score. And like you said, I think they hit a lot of the things that they needed to like make it an adaptation while trying to be a little bit original. And I think
would have gotten north of an 8 for me if they had one so long Gay Bowser in there.
and I think that's cool.
Of that era, that would have been totally okay.
Yeah,
the should have blamed homophobia would have been completely okay.
100%. It's kind of shocking it's not in there.
Success.
But yeah, there are also parts of this that it's like maybe they aren't too familiar with the source material. So,
all right. So I am going to give it a flat 7 as well.
We're a lot closer clustered on this one.
I think most of my arguments remain the same. I again give them so much credit for the risks that they were willing to take, that it wasn't just like a rote adaptation. It wasn't just like, yeah, let's just like
let's take the story of Mario 3 and turn it into an actual movie.
Let's see how many references we can get, right? It's like those were there, but they were done in a way that like the Times Square of Dino Hatton type thing. It was like there's a bunch of stuff that it's just like it's there if you can see it. They don't linger on them too long. It's well done in that regard. It's not like, from everything that I've heard about the new one, is that it's like there's 20 fucking Easter eggs every minute, and it's just like that's too fucking much. Like I don't really kind of vibe with that. But I think it's balanced in that regard. I like that they took risks. My big hits are like they had all those missed opportunities of things that we talked about, like that again would have been little subtle things. Like so much of it would have been in the sound design, right?
The boing sound on the thwomp stompers would have been.
They really could have done a lot more there. There are some of these little choices that they could have made that like would have been a little bit more interesting, I think, and also again totally fit the vibe. Would have fit the aesthetic. Would have been funny and would have hit and would have landed, but also aren't in your face as well. I think that like that if for a casual observer, they wouldn't have been like, yeah, oh, that's obvious, that's just a silly sound effect, like it's just something funny to laugh at, but like it could have been a little bit deeper for fans. But so I give it a flat 7 as well, which gives us a average of 6.9. Nice. So I totally forgot.
That seems fitting. That seems fair.
It's yeah,
I'm willing to be the one holding it below the 7 threshold to get to nice.
Yeah, that's acceptable in my opinion. All right, that's I think that'll do it for us. So we got our scores out, we got the plot out, lots of funny bits here. It was enjoyable. It was fun to watch with the group. All the hurdles and leaps that we had to go through to make it happen was worth it. I like having the DVD on my shelf now. But I think, yeah, that'll do it for us here. Be sure to check us out on all the social medias. Check us out. We are now streaming on Twitch at twitch.tv/Campaign Comrades, but on the YouTube page as well. I need to buckle down and do some work on my next YouTube video. There are a few more shorts that I can put out, but like I've got such a busy work schedule coming up that I don't know how. I make no promises on what that next release is going to look like, but you know, there's some stuff out there for you to go check out. We'd love to hear from you live. And we're going back and forth between Twitch and YouTube and just seeing
whichever one we pick is final. You get to decide. Make sure you show us love on your favorite platform.
Yeah, like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz.
And if you don't like us, tell us why in the comments. Attack me personally.
So that's the one place where actually bad stuff is okay, because engagement is engagement. But only positive reviews on the various podcast things. We don't want to hear any input on what we do here on the podcast. No.
Do we get the mic shill?
I don't know if he can hear. We can hear it. So either way, I think that's a no. But that'll do it for us here at Campaign Comrades. In 2 weeks, this is a reminder for us podcasting, as well as for those of you at home. Matt will be leading us on an epic adventure through the
Hyrule.
Yeah, through Hyrule, of the convoluted timelines of the Zelda universe. So I am very excited for that.
I'll be starting the script tomorrow.
Perfect. All right. Till then, we will see you. Bye-bye.
Bye.